Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, happy Tuesday to you. And I'm going to get right to the day today.
I don't get to say happy Tuesday to you as well.
I guess you can, but you're not going to believe this day.
It can't be better than Frank Hanley's birthday. Can't.
I'm going to just read you what I got today, and I actually have it on my screen. I will show it because I don't think you're going to believe me.
I haven't believed you very often lately, so.
Okay, and there's so many comments. I'm going to try to be an adult about this. It is National Grab Some Nuts Day. You look, see it?
Yeah, I see it.
I'm not making this up. Remember, we checked this. They actually vet these.
You couldn't have done Watermelon Day? And I think there was another one below that.
Oh, what was below what? That was the downside of showing you. It's National Night Out. It's also National Georgia Day. I don't know if that's for the state or anyone named Georgia. Isn't that the Ray Charles song? Georgia, Georgia. Yeah, it is. Ray Charles.
I think he's right. I think it's Ray Charles. Probably best to leave it to Ray to sing.
So, Tom, make sure whatever you do today that you honor the day and grab some nuts. Peanuts, pistachios, walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, filberts. There's a whole collection of nuts to be grabbed.
Okay. I will consider that. I might also, I'm not a big watermelon person, but maybe I'll also celebrate that, or I'll run into somebody named Georgia or from Georgia and celebrate them.
Okay. Well,
good morning, everyone. After that interesting introduction, this is today's Antidote, where Bob and I will discuss a topic that we think is going to help, that you're struggling with or concerned about or have had challenges with or are just uncertain about how to move forward with it. So we'll provide some insight to that, and our viewers will also provide their own insight through comments. And at the end, Bob and I will each offer our one thing. And we encourage you to offer your one thing as well, because we know that whatever we put out there, whether it's from Bob and I or from you, that it can add value to someone else. It can impact what is real for them and help them maybe today or maybe in the future. So please feel free to become an active participant in today's Antidote, maybe with all the things that we talk about moving forward, not necessarily what we discussed prior. And just so that you're aware, while we now know what the national holiday or celebration is, our topic today is we're going to continue on follow-up, and we're going to talk a little bit about the various methods of follow-up. Yesterday we talked about why it matters, and I think hopefully people had some clarity around that, but maybe got some additional clarity yesterday. And we hope that today we can have some conversation. Again, I think this is something that people are aware of, and I'm not so sure they spend a lot of time thinking about the various methods and both the value and sometimes the things that can go wrong with various methods of follow-up. So as we talk about that, what are some of your thoughts, Bob?
So I'm going to step back for a second, Tom, because as you were talking, it occurred to me that when we think of follow-up, we typically are talking, you and I yesterday mostly talked about follow-up in the sense of we've talked to a person or we've come in contact with someone who might be a potential client or customer, and we're following up with them to see when they're ready to make that buying decision. It occurred to me as you were speaking that there's a second kind of follow-up that may in fact be more important, which is going back to someone who you worked with at some point and seeing how they're doing and perhaps rekindling that relationship there and saying, hey, by the way, 2 years ago, I helped you with your taxes. How have you been doing with your taxes? Oh, well, I've got all these assets. Oh, I'd love to talk to you about how we might work together again. And I think that's another area of follow-up that we often overlook. But if we know from research that someone who has bought from you in the past is more likely to buy from you in the future than someone off the street. So if you had 1 hour a day to spend on follow-up, if you've got a customer base of 100 people, I'd be following up with those 100 people long before I went out to a networking event. And that tends to be counterintuitive.
Sure. Although I think it's one of the things, when I was in the nonprofits, but in my nonprofit days when I was actually doing the work rather than helping others do the work, we always talked about the cost to identify a donor. And the cost to find a new donor, a new client, a new customer is significantly more than the cost to go back and get a repeat customer to continue to engage with you or your organization. And I think so often, as you said, we forget about that. How many people have databases of hundreds, maybe thousands of names, and yet they're always looking for new names, thinking that that is going to be, rather than, I think they feel like, well, I've tried those names for forever. And yes, some people have bought, but some have never done anything. And why would I go back to them again rather than move forward and find someone else who might be more active and ready to buy? Which I think, again, as you said, seems like a good method, although there are lots of studies out there about people's buying decisions and how many times you need to come in contact with them to earn their know, like, and trust, which means they will then engage with you. And so often we as entrepreneurs or leaders or professionals fall short in the number of contacts that it actually does take for someone to make a buying decision or an engagement decision. And, and I think that that's a piece that we have to remember, is that the likelihood somebody's going to buy goes up the more often you have contact with them. And yet so many of us in this industry fall way short of those numbers where it is more likely to turn into someone becoming a client, customer, donor. And I think that's, why various methods are important. I think sometimes people stick to, well, I'm just going to do this. I'm only going to make phone calls. Okay. And that may be great. And there are challenges that go along with that as well. That was one of the things when I was working for a nonprofit and I was trying to make donor visits. There were people I called, I don't even know how many times over the 10 years that I was with this organization. And the challenge was, sometimes you got the gatekeeper. Many other times you got voicemail. Rarely did I actually get the person on the phone. And so my contact rate, or the ability to contact, was challenging. And then when email came along, that became sometimes a more effective, or at least effective, way of knowing that they opened it and read it, not necessarily meaning that the impact was any greater. So I think that those are the reasons that we need to consider all the different ways that we can connect and engage with people in a way to follow up so that they have a better understanding of our message.
I'll let you in on a secret. Back when I was doing a lot of marketing work, the first thing I would do when I got a new client would be rekindle their email list. Oh, when was the last time you sent out an email? Oh man, it's been 2 years. Oh, do you have email addresses? Oh yeah, I have 450 email addresses. I put together a campaign and send out an email because I knew in that first week or two, I could get business for them. And they'd be like, wow, this is amazing. You've got this easy, and it worked every single time. And people would be like, wow, you're really good. Just went back to the people like, hey, haven't heard from you in a while. And it really does work. And it often opens possibilities. I've been blessed in the last 10 years with a couple of clients who see the value of me in a way I don't. And they find more stuff for me to do. They like having me around because I give them something. It might start as marketing, it might start as coaching, but it moves into, I like having this person around. And it's funny because, hey, could you do this for me? Hey, I don't know if you could do this. And, like a smart person that I am, I usually can figure out the this and get it done for them. But it's one of those things because they know, like, and trust me. And they've got a situation, a challenge, and they want someone they can know, like, and trust and get through it with. And I think when we develop that kind of relationship, how we do the follow-up probably doesn't matter. And I think those relationships exist for everyone, but we don't often think that way.
Or we don't take the time to get people to that point where they feel that way. And then you can, then they feel comfortable in not only getting your help in the things that they know you do, but in asking you, can you also do something else?
Right. And I think that's part of it. But when we go back, we were talking about various methods and we haven't really covered those. And I would break it down. And I think you and I did this pretty well before we did start the program. Really 3 categories of follow-up. There is the in-person follow-up. Hey, let's get together for coffee or lunch. Or, hey, at that networking event, are you going to that event? Let's make sure we talk there. Or want to go out and play 18 holes of golf with me. Something like that. There's that kind of what I would call the in-person follow-up. I think there's the technology follow-up that is driven by you in the moment. So it's picking up your phone and calling someone. It's getting on a Zoom call with someone. It's texting someone. And then the third category that we see a lot of organizations and a lot of individuals using a lot now is complete automation.
Sure.
You figure out what, you have a drip campaign and they get an email every 3 days for the rest of the time. And it tells them this, this, this. Those 3 categories each have their benefits, but they also each have their drawbacks. And I will tell you, the one that works best for me is the one-on-one interaction. If I send someone a newspaper article, I have a client who's trying to deal with back to work issues. When should they come back? And I've sent them 2 articles I've found on the topic. You would think that I'm, the greatest person in the world. Oh my God, I didn't see this. This is great. I'm going to share this with my team. And now we're talking about whether I could facilitate a discussion with his team on how to move forward, all because I did simple follow-up. It took me, it was literally, I'm reading a newspaper article. Oh, wow, this pertains to exactly what he mentioned to me. PDF of the article, send it in his email, and the next morning I get, oh, thank you for thinking of me. And sometimes follow-up doesn't have to be, hey, I'm Bob here. Here, I do this for you. Don't forget me. Don't forget me. Often it can just be something subtle like, I heard your company mentioned in the news. How are things going? Or I had one client who was in an area last year where there were wildfires. And I just sent him a note like, hey, I saw the wildfires were in that area. Has it affected you at all? Yeah, we're working from a different location because of it. And we had to back up all our systems. Thanks for checking in on me. I really appreciate it. And those are the things that start when we talk about know, like, and trust. That's when someone starts to know, like, and trust you, when you're out of your own world and thinking about their world.
Absolutely. And I think one of the comments you made in there that always resonates with me is that you are adding value to them. You are not just trying to get something from them. I mean, I am always amazed with the people who, and it's one thing if you've been connected to the person for a long time and you say, hey, I wanted to make you aware I'm offering this, whatever it is, new widget, new program, new opportunity. And I wanted you to just be aware of it because I thought you might be interested. Okay. But when that's what you lead with someone that you don't know, and the only thing and this is becoming, I think, a real problem on LinkedIn, is that people are just doing mass, hey, buy my products in a direct message when, their first message was, hey, let's connect and engage and see how we might be able to work together or help one another or whatever, or get to know one another. And I think that becomes part of the challenge, is that when we are honest and trying to add value to someone is sometimes the best follow-up that they can provide. I think that's one of the reasons that we do the Renegade Way, is we feel like there is value in adding additional information. And usually it's around a story or an experience that we've had with the topic that we are sharing. And the same thing with this show is that we have experience, some knowledge and some perspective on every topic that we talk about. Are we necessarily the experts? We're the experts of what we know. And so Bob is the expert of all things that we ever talk about. So if you're looking for an expert on anything, that's Bob.
Boy, if you think back to what today's day is, that's not what I want to be attached to.
Yeah, I thought we had moved beyond that, but I guess not. Can't get away from it.
You drove us back.
No, I think you brought us back. I'm not sure I drove us back. So I think that those are the things, is that, we all have something to share, and how we find the most effective way to do that. And that's the challenge. Like, yes, you say that phone calls is what's been most effective for you, and that's what's real for you. That's been your experience. There are others who would say, I need to reach a whole lot more people than just, and that may be a false belief, or it may be what has worked for them in the past. And, they feel like, well, a lot of my clients are people who are busy out and about doing service. If you are supporting a service industry, you're not necessarily going to get people on the phone from 9 to 5 during the day. They're busy managing their clients. And so email might be the best. I can remember we had a lot of alumni and a lot of donors who were doctors in the nonprofit space. You're not likely going to get them on the phone. It's just not going to happen. They're busy doing whatever. If you have somebody who works at a trading desk, don't try calling them from the time the market opens until the time the market closes, because you're not going to get them. And so I think we have to find various methods and effective ways within each method to reach the various types of people that we're trying to reach. Just like our message is only going to reach a certain number of people, the method by which we use it will only be effective with a certain group of people. And so the different ways that we can reach them, it's why social media has become not only so large, but also so broad. Some of it is with 46 characters. Is that what, or maybe it's longer than that? 140
now I think
characters.
It's 280 or something.
Yeah. So that's all text with maybe some images. Maybe it's an article on LinkedIn. Maybe it is Bob doing his thing on TikTok, or maybe it's an Instagram picture that is something that will.
I've never been on TikTok.
I don't think you've been on TikTok yourself. I have a feeling your opening has been on TikTok.
I did not know this.
I'm not 100% positive about that, but I think that's the case.
I'm going to bring in Tim's comment. I've always found that personal touch brings best results when following up cold, but never direct message your pitch. Yeah, I was checking my LinkedIn this morning, and someone had the brilliant idea to send me a message that said, I know you're busy, but you've got to stop for 10 minutes today and talk to me about this really important opportunity. Okay. Yeah, I almost canceled the program, Tom, so I could,
so that you could do it.
That's right, because it's that important to me. This
person never know.
Who I've never met this person.
Maybe it would have been.
Well, the last time that came up, it was someone who was asking me if I wanted to print crypto coins or something. I'm not really sure what that even means.
And I think that for whatever reason, they felt that was an effective method to follow up. I'm sure that there are others who think, some people will say, they will believe it's a numbers game. That's and I don't think those people are thinking about the long-term possibility of someone. They're thinking about the short term. And how do I just get someone now? And I think, one example that we always used to use in the fundraising world was a donor at Johns Hopkins, whose first gift, I think, was either $25 or $50. I forget now, right out of college. And that donor because they followed up, stayed connected, sent him messages, phone calls, alumni magazines, even regular solicitations. He's probably one of the largest philanthropic donors in the country, Michael Bloomberg, who has given them
billions.
Yeah.
Billions.
So the fact that
I walked on his bricks every day when I was teaching there. He paid for the bricks throughout the whole campus.
Got it.
Staggering. I mean, we're talking probably 1 million bricks.
Sure. And I think those are the things that, sometimes you can be successful with a small base. Other times people feel like I need as many people as possible so that I can continue to weed it down, which is fine. Amazon needs a lot of people to use their product. Walmart, you don't have stores that size and are focused on a very small niche of people who are trying to come in and use your services.
But those are the exceptions.
Certainly. Right. There are not a lot of businesses that size. So for the most part, we're trying to, sometimes we forget how much business one client has provided and the value of us staying connected to that one client.
And also finding out about their experiences.
Sure.
Hey, what could we do better?
That's part of follow-up, right?
If I could wave my magic wand, what's that one thing you want me to be able to do that we don't do now? That's been really illuminating to me and for a lot of my clients. And it's usually not something that's impossible. It's usually like a logical thing, like, oh, never even thought of that, because we get so wrapped up. But that's how, and then when you do it, you go to that person and say, hey, John, just want to let you know, this thing that we've been doing, we added this because you mentioned it. How'd you like to be our first customer? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, because you told us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's and that's the key. Other thing with follow-up is we won't know those results unless we go back and follow up. So there's follow-up in trying to gain clients, follow the people we've met, connected with, engaged with, people who walked in our store. And then there's follow-up with those who have already purchased, connected, engaged with us, not necessarily for the next sale, although I believe that if you ask about the results of the first, the opportunity is you're going to be better informed down the line when you go to see if they want to be connected or engaged or involved with you again. And that follow-up is more about supporting them, getting their feedback, thanking them. That was one of the huge parts in the nonprofit space. One of them still is that piece of, okay, we got your gift, your donation. How do we continue to say thank you for that? And there was the kind of rule of thumb in fundraising was that you would thank people 7 times for every gift they made. And I wonder if we have 7 thank you messages, connections, follow-up with our clients as a way to try to acknowledge the connection that we had. I think that's, sometimes we think, okay, they know that we appreciate it, or they got value, we provided a service, we're done. Sometimes I think the fact of going up for follow-up is only reinforces and enhances the work that we have done. And I think that was a piece in the nonprofit space that was helpful in retaining donors year after year after year after year. And I think many corporations or businesses or business owners have found that thank you. I had a guy that I did a lot of work with. He would take his clients, he would rent like a mini bus. We'd drive down, we were in upstate New York. We'd drive down to Yankee Stadium and he would treat them to a day in a suite at Yankee Stadium as a thank you to his largest clients. And, there were various other opportunities where he would continue to thank them. So not only is he using it as a thank you, but it was also using it as a way to continue to cultivate that relationship. Because you just get, as we were talking about yesterday on the golf course, you get to know people different. Anytime you're spending time that's not necessarily work, even though you may talk about work a little bit, you're building that relationship, and that follow-up allows you to be more effective as you go to talk with them about the next engagement opportunity that you have. I think it holds true with your team. If you're a leader of a team and you share a message in a meeting, not everyone is going to get it right away. Not everyone's going to agree with it right away. And so finding how you follow up with each member of that team so that they are not only clear about what you're trying to accomplish, you're clear on their thoughts about that and how they may or may not want to, believe in it, think it's the right thing to do. Okay. At least you now have that understanding and they know that you care about their understanding. And that could be sending them further information about this, going and having a personal conversation with them. There's lots of different ways that we can connect and follow up with people to see where they stand and make sure that they're clear on where we stand.
All right, Tom, it's that time. What's your one thing?
I guess my one thing about various methods is that just as a reminder that just like we have to find we have to find where our clients live, we also have to find how they respond, what they respond to. And that just because one method seems to be the most effective for us, we also have to find other ways to do it as well, because it's not going to resonate with everyone. And so even though you think that just because you stop by somebody's storefront every month, just checking in to say, hello, I'm doing my follow-up, that doesn't mean that that's the most effective way for them. If every time you do it, they're busy with customers, you're not going to get a chance to talk to them. They're just going to see you and they're going to be like, why does that person keep stopping in? And I'm always busy.
Right.
So maybe you want to think about, well, what's my email message to them? Maybe there's a way that I can text them, maybe. And maybe I stop by at 5:15 when the store is closing up, or at 7:30 before they open, where maybe I get a chance to have a conversation with them when they are not in the middle of what's most important for them. So I think always considering, what are the various methods and understanding their effectiveness for you and for your clients. Because it's very hard to do follow-up in an enormous, wide spread of ways. Technology helps, as you shared earlier. And even with technology, it can become overwhelming trying to do all the follow-up that you need to do with all the people that you've become connected to.
I like that. I'm going to piggyback off of that and say that what works for someone else in follow-up may or may not work for you. Can't tell you how many times someone said to me, oh, I'm using Instagram and I'm getting so many customers on Instagram. So then I stop and go to Instagram for 3 weeks and then give that up because someone says, oh, follow this. And next thing you know, I've chased 18 different ways to track down people, but I've done no real follow-up. I've chased the shiny object.
Sure.
You and I did it with Clubhouse. We spent a good month on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
It had some benefit, but it wasn't where we should have been fishing. We found out, we tried it and it didn't work, but that was a calculation. And I think plenty of people have told me, oh, Clubhouse is a place to be.
And it might still be.
Yes, exactly. And it could very well be, but don't feel like just because your best friend is using email marketing campaigns at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, that's going to work for you. It may, but it also may not.
Right.
Which brings us to the part that I like, Tom.
Yes. What is that?
If you don't know what might work for you, how to get in front of customers, how to grow your business, how to grow your nonprofit, Tom and I would love to help you. We created this Renegade Success Network for one reason and one reason only. We were bored. No. The one reason was we want to help people. We want to help people find and discover the things that work for them. We want to help you build processes that you're comfortable with, that fit you, that encourage you to come to work each day and really make a difference and help you achieve your goals. And there aren't a lot of people out there that want to help you in that way. And even though we talk about a process, every single customer we deal with, every one of our clients, Tom, and you know this, we customize what we do. Whether it's someone who, I'm not really comfortable sending emails. I don't really like talking on the phone. I'm not a networking person. Okay. we can work with that. And so if you're someone who feels like you've tried all these things that worked for everyone else and they don't work for you, now would be the time to consider working with Tom and me through our Renegade Success Network. And we are going to be announcing later this week a really, really good opportunity to work with us over the next 3 or 4 months. Right, Tom?
Really, really? So
Really?
how much more emphasis, just out of curiosity, does adding another adjective, repeating the same adjective, provide?
Wow.
I'm just curious.
I didn't see you doing the pitch.
You jumped right in. You were good. I didn't. I'm not criticizing. I'm just curious.
It just came out.
It's all right. It's funny. I think that people, maybe that emphasis is really good. Likely, some people love it and think, "Wow, it's really, really good," and others are like, "I think I got it the first time. It's really good, or it's good."
It's really annoying. But just to finish my thought, since Tom derailed me, which is fun, I enjoy that. No, it's fine. I enjoy it. If you want to talk to us about what that would look like, you can direct message Tom or me. You can email us. You can go to the renegadesuccessnetwork.com and look at the details. But we would be happy to talk to you about this. And it could be the difference maker as you go into the end of this year. You could actually start 2022 knowing exactly how to get clients and customers and how to grow your business the way you've always wanted to.
Look at all the various methods that people can follow up with us. Interesting.
That's right.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of our show today. If you have one thing you'd like to share about the various methods of follow-up, maybe what's worked for you, maybe what you've struggled with, maybe how do you use it? Do you use it as a thank you, or do you use it as a cultivation for the next opportunity? Because I think those are two very different and unique things. We'd love to hear about it. So please feel free to put it in the comments. If not, you can put it inside the Ring of Renegades, our private Facebook group. Yes, it is private because we're trying to create a space.
You snuck that in early.
I'm trying to see if you're awake, keeping track.
You got there early. Darn.
It is private because we're trying to create a space where people can get together and share the challenges that they have with others who are trying to help them take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and just ask to join. And when you ask to join, all you have to do is tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of our growing community. With that, I hope that you have a great day. We hope to see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. As Bob mentioned, the Renegade Success Network is available. And as he said, we will have more information, so make sure you stay tuned. But in case you are not aware, here is some further information about the Renegade Success Network. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey
on your own pathway to success.